Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brooke from Large Family Homestead, and as you know, I am the cheese maker in the family. Not that I make all of the cheese, but most of the time I'm the ones doing videos for the channel for cheese making. And so I wanted to conduct a little bit of an experiment. As you know, I am newer to working with hard cheeses, so I wanted to conduct an experiment on the aging process. As you know, the first time that we did it, we put it in one of those glass cheese aging containers. I'll throw a picture up on screen in case you don't know what I'm talking about. And for me personally, I was really disappointed with the process. It took a lot of time and effort. The cheese had to be scraped like every few days because of mold growth, and we actually wound up losing probably half to 2/3 of the cheese just from scraping. And we were left with a very small block of cheese after I had worked very hard to make a 2-pound wheel. So I wanted to try some different popular aging methods to see if I could find something that was more suitable to our needs. So my two top were waxing, which is very popular among traditional cheesemakers, and vacuum sealing, which isn't very popular, and there's a lot of mixed reviews on it. So I thought that this would be a fun experiment to try. Since I have a vacuum sealing machine, I figured, hey, let's try it. Vacuum sealing versus wax cheese, right? So I did tape a lot of video while we were doing the process, and my plan is we're just gonna go over that footage together, and I'm gonna explain what I did and did not like about both processes, as well as how easy it was. Did I need to intervene at any point throughout the cheese making? And I'm just gonna share my thoughts with you as we were doing this. And then at the end, we'll conduct a taste testing of both cheeses from people that don't know which is which, and they're gonna tell us which one they think is better. I didn't tape myself vacuum sealing the last wheel of cheese because I literally just put the wheel of cheese in a bag, put it on my food saver, and vacuum sealed it. It was really that easy, and then I just stuck it in the fridge. The refrigerator is how I decided to age my cheese this time. Normally it's okay, it just takes a little bit longer because of the cooler temperatures. So now we're waxing, and I decided to let Dad wax this one. I was a little bit worried about trying to wax it for the first time on my own, but we decided to do the low heat method. So you can look up what low heat versus high heat waxing is, but I'll give you just like a quick idea of what it is. So the high heat will kill any bacteria on the surface of the cheese, right? So there's less chance for mold growing underneath the wax, but it can be more dangerous. Where low heat waxing, you literally just heat the wax until it's melted and then you brush it on the cheese, but this does not kill the bacteria on the cheese, meaning that there's more chance for mold under the wax later. So to try and help combat mold on the cheese, I rubbed the cheese in like a saltwater brine prior to Dad waxing it, and then I made sure it was dry before we waxed it. I was reading that the saltwater brine is the easiest way to kill the bacteria on the surface of the cheese. So that's what I decided to do. And then there's also different colors of wax that you can get. I know a lot of people do red wax, I think. I decided to go with clear, and there was one main reason why I wanted to go with clear. Well, first of all, there's no food dyes in the clear wax, whereas the colored ones have dyes in them. But that wasn't my main concern. My main concern was making sure that I could see if mold grew under the wax. I was really concerned about this. It seems to be the biggest issue when low heat waxing cheese. So I got clear wax specifically so that I could see if there was mold growing underneath the wax on the cheese. And then I figured if that was a problem later down the road, we would deal with it, but at least I would know prior to opening up the cheese to eat for the first time. So we did about 2 or 3 layers of wax across the entire thing. And then once it was done, we let the wax harden, and then I did put it in the fridge, same as the vacuum sealed one. And then I just kept flipping them both so that, they'd be even, I guess. I'm not really sure. I think I read somewhere that they needed to be flipped, so that's what I was doing. And then this is about 2 weeks in, maybe 1 week. And as you can see, there is a crack in the wax right there. And there is mold growing underneath the wax, which was what I had said was my biggest concern and worry with waxing cheese. So this did mean that I'm going to have to take all of that wax off where the mold is and get the mold off, and then put new wax on it. So that's what I had to do. But if you guys look at this vacuum sealed cheese I got at around the same time here, you can see that it does not have any mold on it. It looks really nice right now. I did wind up labeling that one. I wasn't sure about labeling the waxed one, so I just let it go. But you can see that with the vacuum sealed one, there's no imperfections, no mold, no bacteria growing. It actually looks really good. So that one went right back in the fridge, but you can see all of that mold on the waxed one. So here's a little bit of me just, again, I did the salt water to get all the mold off, let it dry, and then I re-waxed the portion that I had taken off. So I did not re-wax the entire block. I just re-waxed that side and that part of the top where it was on. This did take a considerable amount of time and definitely made waxing less appealing to me, because the whole point for me is I want to make things as easy and as fast as possible, because we are on a homestead and we have a lot to do in a day. Having to spend a half an hour to an hour re-waxing cheese because mold grew underneath was not preferable to me. It is something I will do if people prefer the cheese waxed, but I was definitely not happy that I had to take it all off and re-wax it. So maybe I'll do the high heat method next time just to try and make sure that no mold grows underneath. But I do like the less dangerous low heat method. So now it's time to unpack the cheeses after about a 4 to 6 week aging process. So first up was the vacuum sealed one, and I do want to mention that this is a few hours before we plan to taste the cheese, because I heard from a lot of people who do vacuum sealed aging that to get rid of that weird taste that a lot of people talk about, you just have to get it out of the bag for a couple hours prior to eating and let it aerate. So that's what I had planned to do with this cheese, and it looked very good coming out. No mold or anything like that, so I had barely messed with it during the aging process. And then I opened this one right before tasting our waxed cheese. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to get waxed cheese out of its wax normally. I just decided to just go for it and cut the whole thing down the middle. If there's a better way to do this, feel free to let me know. I'm not an expert with waxing cheese. This is the first time I've done it. So, but again, it looked really good on the inside. Nice and sharp looking, as you can tell. The wax sort of broke off as I cut into it, which that's okay with me. I just made sure that there wasn't any wax pieces on the cheese that I was giving to them to eat. No more mold issues. Everything looked good. No more bacteria, anything like that. So let's see what they think of it. I separated the cheese there in 2 different piles. I'm the only one who knows which is which.
I can smell the difference.
But you don't know which one is which.
Joshua says he can tell the difference.
And we'll see about that.
By whip.
And so I'm gonna have them try each one, and they're gonna give us what they think. Now do keep in mind that the vacuum sealed one was aged about a week longer.
Yeah,
okay.
That's
so it's already gonna be more on that.
It's gonna be sharper.
Sharper, yes. All right, well, he picked from that side, so you picked from that side too.
Which side? Did he pick from over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I recommend eating the middle part of the cheese
The
first.
wax one.
You think that's the wax one?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Why? You think it tastes less? But you haven't even tried the other one.
I can smell it. It's so strong.
Wait, eat that first and swallow it, and then try the other one. What do you think, Dad?
That has a sharp taste to it.
Yeah.
I don't taste anything out of the ordinary. It's got a good flavor. Should we try the other side?
Sure.
Okay.
Now tasting both of them, I think this one's actually the vacuum seal one, and that one's the wax one.
This one definitely has a bolder, sharper flavor to it. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that one's the wax one, and this one's this one's the vacuum seal.
Okay, so this has a bold, very sharp, really strong flavor. Almost a little too strong, maybe.
Okay.
Now, people that like that type of cheese will like, I'm not I like sharp cheese, but not real strong, sharp cheese.
Right.
So I could see how this could be liked even more by a lot of people.
Right.
That one's good. I like it. It has a smoother flavor to it. Not as bold, not as sharp.
Now what's your guess? I say this one's vacuum, that one's wax.
I don't know.
Just do the
Okay,
opposite.
so
I'm
the
just gonna
side
guess.
that's eaten more of.
The eaten more of, I'm gonna say is the wax.
Okay, so the side that's eaten more of.
Only because I have in my mind that everybody said that the vacuum flavor creates a weird taste.
Right.
So I'm just guessing that the weird, it's not a weird taste, but it's stronger. But that came from the vacuum sealing.
Okay. So the more eaten side is vacuum sealed.
Is vacuum sealed?
And the one that you're saying has a stronger flavor is wax.
It's the wax sealed.
And it actually was aged for less time than the vacuum sealed one.
The
Yeah,
wax was?
I definitely like the vacuum sealed one.
I like the vacuum sealed one better too.
Well, that makes me happy because it's much easier.
Yep. Now, maybe if we aged this one a little less, we may like it more.
Yeah. Plus, I had to actually pull that one out about 2 weeks into aging and take off like about a quarter to a half of the wax and redo it because it actually got mold underneath it.
I think this one, either of those with the right mustard, would be really good.
All right. Well, thank you for volunteering.
You're welcome.
So I think that we've determined that obviously vacuum sealing the cheese is easier and requires less attention during aging than the wax cheese does. And according to Dad and Joshua, they actually preferred the taste of the vacuum sealed cheese to the waxed one, even though the vacuum sealed cheese was aged longer. Now I think that the waxed one could have still been good. Clearly, the vacuum sealed cheeses need to be aged longer and the waxed one not as long. I want to know. Let me know in the comments below which method do you think is better and that we should use going forward. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. I may not be seeing all the benefits of the waxed cheese and I want to know what you guys think. Otherwise, don't forget to like, and if you're not already, subscribe. See you next time.